Welcome to the lecture 2 of the course data structures. So in the last lecture, we have discussed the introduction to data structures, and also we have discussed a brief introduction to pointers. So we will be continuing discussing the concepts of pointers. So last class we have discussed what are the operators that are associated with a pointer. One is the ampersand operator, the other one is the indirection operator, which is star. Ampersand operator will always refer to the address of a particular variable. And the indirection operator or the star operator, it has two purposes in connection with pointer. One is it is used to declare a pointer variable, and the other usage is it is used to access the value of a pointer. Okay, in that context, in the second context of in the second usage of the indirection operator star will be read as value at so and so location. And also we have discussed a sample program, like how to access a variable's value using a pointer. Okay, and we have defined pointer as a pointer is a variable which holds the address of another variable. If a pointer is pointing to an integer variable, or if it is holding the address of an integer variable, then it is called as integer pointer. If the pointer is holding the address of an character variable, then it is called as a character pointer, and it is said to be pointing to a character. If a pointer is pointing to the floating point value, or it is holding the address of a floating point variable, then it will be called as a floating point pointer. Okay. So let us continue our discussions further. So in today's lecture, we'll be further exploring pointer. Let us start with something called as null pointer. A null pointer is something which does not point to any object or any functions. And you can create a null pointer by assigning a null value to the pointer. The null pointer will always hold the value 0. So this is how we can create a null pointer. So this is a simple program, hash include stdio.h. Stdio.h is a header file which contains the printf and scanf functions. So normally we won't write a C program without any printf or scanf. So it is a general practice to always include this stdio.h header file, and then starts the main function int main, and the open brace represents the beginning of the main function. Here we are creating a pointer int star p. Okay. See, it is always advisable to create a pointer like this, int star p equal to null, because because it means that initially you are creating a pointer and you are telling it is not pointing to anywhere, right? Later, maybe after sometimes, maybe after executing 10-15 statements, this pointer may point to some integer variable. That is, it may hold the address of an integer variable, but until then, it is better to keep it as null, because if you keep it as null, then accidentally the programmer may not use this pointer, and even if he uses it accidentally, it will not result in any mishap. You getting? Otherwise, if it is not assigned to null, okay, if it is not assigned to null, sometimes what happen in the sense, say I'm not assigning the pointer to null. Okay, I'm just saying int star p. The moment you say int star p, it means that p is a pointer to an integer. Okay, and I'm not using this p for, say, next 50 statements in the program. After 50 statements, I'm using p, like I'm making p to point to some variable, say ampersand k, the address of k or whatever it may be. Okay. Now what happens sometimes in Java also, you might have heard the term called garbage value. Okay, sometimes this p may hold some garbage value. Say assume that by deep. So what is p? P is a pointer. Pointer means what? Some memory location is allocated for this pointer p. Okay, say the pointer will also have a memory location. Okay, so let's say this memory location is 4000, right? Okay, let us assume that previously somebody, always the memory in a system is always being used by some process or another process. So before allocating this location for this pointer p, some other process might have used this location. Okay, say that process has kept some value here. Say let that value be 7000. Okay, so what does that mean? Now you are just created a pointer. You have just created a pointer here, and your intention is that this pointer is not pointing anywhere until you execute first 50 statements. After 50 statement, there is in the 51st statement only you are assigning the pointer. Okay, but if you see in the background, already this pointer is holding a value or address. It is holding an address called 7000. Okay, so now say for example mistakenly, or say some other user or some other programmer is opening this program and he don't know that this pointer is not used until the first 50 statements. Say here itself he started using the p. So he is performing some operation. He is saying print of star p or whatever it may be. Something, uh, some task he is doing. Okay, or he is performing uh, some. Say he is writing that star p, that is value at p. Okay, is equal to star p plus 10. What does it mean? It means that he is asking to add the value at location pointed by the pointer with plus 10. Okay, but what is this 7000? We don't know. Maybe 7000 may contain some value. The location, the memory address 7000, it may have some value, but that may not be belonging to this particular process. It might be belonging to some other process. Okay, say if that location contains the value 20, and this program now what it is doing, it is making it to 30. Okay, which will lead to some kind of error for you getting, because you are accessing somebody else location and you are changing it. That user then what will happen? That user will feel very strange. Okay, or say this particular 20, whatever the 20 the value is there, say it is a dollar, it represents some money that user has to pay for something for which he is going to purchase. But he is thinking that it is 20, but now meanwhile you change it that to 30. So then the software will charge him $30 instead of $20. So such problems will get created if you don't assign pointer to null. Okay, that is the reason why we always suggest that the pointer should be assigned to null. Okay, I think the context is clear. Other than that, there is no specific purpose of the null pointer. Okay, so it is always a good programming practice to assign the pointer to a null. Okay, so if the pointer is assigned to null, such a pointer is called as a null pointer. And if you display the value of the null pointer, you will get either 0 or nil. Okay, either depending on the compiler, you will get either 0 or the value nil. So in Windows, you can use to display the address, you can use either %x or %u. So in Windows, you can use either %u or %x to display the address. Okay, and in Unix or Linux environment, to display the address, you have to use %p. Okay, in a typical Linux or a Unix environment, we use %p to display the address. Okay, now let us execute this program and let us see how it works. Right. So here is the WSL. I have already coded the program. Let me clear the screen first. Okay, so ls. So there is a program you can see here, null pointer.c. Let me open this. Nano is the name of the editor which we are using, is called as Nano. So it is, so I have to use Nano, then file name null pointer.c. Okay, so it's the same program whatever we have discussed there. Include the header file, the main function int star p is equal to null, and I'm just saying p points to %p. Okay, but currently p points to null. So it may display either p points to 0 or p points to nil and return 0. Okay. So let me save it, Control O, save, and let me come out, Control X, exit, and let me compile the program. Okay. So gcc null pointer.c -o null pointer. So this will create the compiled file. Okay. That is the object file, obj file. Okay. So it's compiled. Now to execute, you have to give dot slash, you have to call that object file. So null underscore pointer. So here you should not give dot C because here we are calling this object file, not the C file. So you can see here, this is the output, P points to nil. So it means it is not pointing anywhere. Okay. So it is always advisable when you create a pointer, let it point to null so that it will not lead to any unnecessary problems of mishandling the memory locations, right? Okay. So there are also other types of pointers. There is something called as a void pointer, there is something called as a wild pointer, and there is something called as a dangling pointer. So I leave this as an exercise. I want you to search on Google or any books, okay, and you should identify and you should tell me when you come for the next class, that is for the discussion session of this particular lecture, I'll ask this question. You should be able to answer what is a void pointer, what is a wild pointer, and what is a dangling pointer. Okay, all these are very simple concepts like null pointer, but I want you to do this as a self-learning exercise. Okay, please explore and do it. Fine. Okay. So coming to the core of this lecture, so in this lecture we will be discussing how to access arrays using pointers. So what we'll be discussing means how to access arrays, how to access the contents of arrays using pointers. Right? What is an array? So you all are already familiar with array. You have learned in C, Python, you have learned arrays. In Java, you have learned arrays. Okay. So the definition of array is a continuous memory location with a common name. So whenever the memory is allocated for an array, it will be always in contiguous location and it will be of a similar type. Array is a continuous memory location with a common name of same data type. So all the elements in the array will be of the same type. If it is a character array, then all the elements will be character. If it is an integer array, then all the elements will be integer. If it is a float array, then all the elements will be float. And the memory location will be contiguous. Okay. And already we know that what is a pointer? A pointer is something which holds the address of another variable. Okay. And how can we create a pointer to an array? How can we make a pointer to point to an array? So in that case, what you should do in the sense, if you want to make a pointer to point to an array, then that pointer should hold the base address or starting address of the array. When you want to make a pointer to point to an array, then first what you should do in the sense, you should just create a pointer depending on the type of the array. If the array is an integer array, then create int star p. If the array is a character array, then create character star p. If the array is a floating point array, then create float star p. That's it. Okay, then that pointer should point to the base address or the starting address of the array. What is the base address? Base address is nothing but the address of the first element of the array. Okay, so array, as you know, array contains many elements. So if the name of the array is A, then A0 will be the first element or subscript A of 0. A of 1 will be the second element. A of 2 will be the third element. So everything will have an address. So this pointer to an array should initially hold the starting address of the array. Okay, it should hold the starting address of that is the address of the first element, that is A0's address it should hold. Fine. So if you have that type of a pointer which is holding the base address or the starting address of an array, then using that we can access the entire array contents, right? So how to do that? That's what we are going to discuss. Fine. So let us take this example. Say I am declaring an array int. It means it's an integer array. A is the name of the array. A within square bracket 5. It means this array contains 5 elements equal to open flower bracket 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What does it mean? It means that this particular array A contains 5 elements, and these elements are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. What does it mean? So that means that some location will be allocated for this array in memory. The entire location will be named as A. Okay. This first location is, we call it as A of 0. Okay, the array index starts with 0 in C. So the second location will be called as A of 1. And the third location will be called as A of 2. And the fourth location will be called as A of 3. Okay. And the fifth location will be called as A of 4. Right? Okay. And what happens? 1 will be stored in A of 0. 2 will be stored in A of 1. Okay. 3 will be stored in A of 2. 4 will be stored in A of 3. And 5 will be stored in A of 5. Okay. Now let us say that, so that is what this table says. The array, this is the array name, A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3, and A of 4. The values are in A of 0, you have 1, in A of 1, you have 2, A of 2, you have 3, A of 3, you have 4, and A of 4, you have 5. Okay. Now let us assume that the starting address of this array is 1000. Okay. If the starting address is 1000, that is the array of, that is the address of A of 0 is 1000, then what will be the address of A of 1? That depends on the type of the array. So what is the type of the array? Here the type is integer. So integer occupies 4 bytes of memory location. Okay, integer needs how many bytes? 4 bytes. So if A of 0 is pointing to, if the address of A of 0 is 1000, then the address of A of 1 will be 1004. Okay. If the address of A of 0 is 1000, then the address of A of 1 will be 1004. And the address of A of 2 will be 1008. And the address of A of 3 will be 1008 plus 4, 12. And the address of A of 4 will be 1016. Okay. So that is what here a typical example is given. If the starting address of the array is 1000, that is, if A of 0's address is 1000, then A of 1's address will be 1004, 2008, 3012, and 4016. Okay. Address can be anything, we don't know, because it will be, the compiler will randomly allocate some location whichever is free. Okay. If the starting address is known, then other address you can identify if you know the data type of the array. If the starting address is 6520, if A of 0 is 6520, then what will be A of 1? 6524. Okay. And what will be A of 2? 6528. Okay. And what will be A of 3? 6532. Right. And what will be A of 4? 6536. Okay. So like that, if you know the starting address, from there you can access all elements of the array, right? So this is the basic idea. Okay, now we have discussed only arrays. We have not yet come to pointers. Now we shall see how to access this array using a pointer. The array name itself refers to the starting address of the array. Okay. So whenever you create an array, the array, say this is A of 5. So already as we discussed, so this array contains these elements 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay. So this, okay, fine. So So you know that this is a of 0, okay. It goes on up to this is a of 4, right? The array name is a, okay. Now let us say that, this starting address is, let us assume the starting address, that is the address of a of 0 as 1000, okay. So how to get the address? Because pointer should be assigned with the address, starting address, right? How to get the address? There are two ways to get the address. The array name itself refers to the starting address of the array. So the moment you say a, here a is the name of the array and it will refer to the address 1000, okay. Because there is not, because a means it refers to the entire array, and the entire array's starting address it refers, okay. So just a, it will give you this particular info, that is the starting address of the array, which is 1000. This is one way to access the starting address or the base address of the array. The another way to access the starting address is, the starting address is nothing but the address of the first element. So what is the first element? The first element is a of 0. A of 0 is the first element. So when you say a of 0, it refers to the value that is 0, because 0 is, sorry, so it is, oh, I stored wrongly. It is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5, okay. So there is nothing, the totally the array contains only 5 locations, okay. And the last location is what you call a of 4, okay. Here, so it is a of 0 to a of 4, right? Yes, this, so the last index is a of 4, okay. So a of 0 refers to this particular value 1, but using a of 0 also you can get this address. Just add an ampersand here. So when you say ampersand, what does it mean? Address of a of 0. When you say just a of 0, it refers the value 1. But when you say ampersand a of 0, it refers to address of a of 0. Address of a of 0 is what? 1000. Okay. So this address, starting address, can be accessed either by using just a or by using address of a of 0. So now here we are creating an array, and the array is filled with some values. And then we are creating a pointer, int star p. So p is a pointer to an integer. Then we want to make this pointer to point to the base address or the starting address of this array. For this, either you can use this statement, which means p is equal to a, which means the pointer p is a pointer. So as I already told, a refers to the starting address. What is starting address? 1000. So it means that p will hold the address 1000. So if it contains the address 1000, it means that p is pointing here. Okay. Or you can also write p is equal to ampersand a of 0, which means address of a of 0. So these are the two ways. Either you can just say p is equal to a, or you can say p is equal to address of a of 0. Okay. So these are the, you can either make p is equal to a, or you can say p is equal to address of a of 0. So this is how we can assign a, we can make a pointer to point to an array, right? Fine. Let us continue. So in context with pointers, we use the term, in context with pointers to array, we use a term called scale factor. So the scale factor, what is meant by scale factor? So scale factor refers to the length of the data type. Okay, that is a particular data type, how much byte it will access. So if you take character, it occupies in memory only 1 byte. Character occupies only 1 byte of memory. So it means that the scale factor of character is 1. If you take integer, integer occupies 4 bytes. Integer occupies 4 bytes. So the scale factor of integer is 4. If you take float, okay, float occupies again 4 bytes. So the scale factor of float is also 4. Okay. So scale factor represents how much amount of memory a particular data type occupies. So a single character variable, it occupies only 1 byte, a single integer, it occupies 4 bytes, a single float, it occupies 4 bytes. So that is what is called as a scale factor, the length of the data type. Okay. Now let us consider that same example, whatever we have taken. So 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 the array A, it contains the values 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's what we have discussed, and also we have discussed that the starting address is 1000. Okay, so if the starting address is 1000, so this is the array A. So if the starting address is 1000. Okay, so this is the first location is index 0 and the last location is index 4. Okay, so these are the address. So the first location, address of A of 0 is what? 1000. Address of A of 1. A of 1 is second location. What is its address? 1004. Address of A of 2. This is this address of A of 2. What is 1008? Address of A of this is 3. Okay, address of A of 3 is what? 1012. Address of A of 4 is 1060. Okay, so this is one way to access the address. This is by using just the array name. Okay, but there is another way also to access the address. By using the pointer variable also, you can access the address. So how is that? So using a, so already we in the previous slide, if you recall, we have already given the statement like this. What statement? P is equal to A. P is equal to A. It means what? P is pointing to the starting address of the array. That is the array P, sorry, the pointer P, it contains the starting address of the array. What is the starting address? 1000. What's the starting address? 1000. Okay. So P refers to what? 1000. Are you getting? P refers to 1000. Okay. But fine. That is fine. But what is P plus 1? What is P plus 1? P plus 1. So P plus 1 is, P is 1000. So you can say that P plus 1 is 1001. But that is not the case. Okay. Please try to understand. This is a very key concept. If the starting address P is 1000, then P plus 1 is not just 1001. It is whatever this index, this is the index, right? Whatever the index you have given here, that will be multiplied with the scale factor. That should be multiplied with the scale factor. Here, what is the scale factor? Here, P is a pointer to an integer. So the scale factor is 4. So it is P plus 1 into 4. So what is P plus 1 into 4? P is what? 1 into 4 is, so it is P plus 4. It is P plus 4. And what is P? P is 1000. So what is 1000 plus 4? 1000 plus 4 is 1004. Are you getting? So 1000 plus 4 is 1004. Okay. So P plus 1 refers to 1004. Like how address of A of 1 refers to 1004. Like that P plus 1 refers to 1004. Now what is P plus 2? So P plus 2 also you should do the same thing. It is not just 2. This 2 should be multiplied with the scale factor. So if you multiply the 2 with the scale factor, if you multiply this 2 with the scale factor, this is 2 into 4, it becomes 8. So it is P plus 8. So what is P plus 8? P is always 1000 because P always points to the base address. So 1000 plus 8 is 1008. Okay. Similarly, P plus 3 is P plus 3 into 4. That is 3 into 4 is 12. So 1000 plus 12 is 1012. And P plus 4 is P plus 4 into 4. 4 into 4 is 16. That is P plus P is 1000. 1000 plus 16 is 1016. Okay. So this is another way, that is by using pointer you can access the address of every element of the array. Okay, because P contains a starting address, then you can access any element by using P plus I. So just you can, if you want to access the ith element, you just say P plus I. Okay, if I is 100, this array contains only 5 elements. If I is 100, then what will be, how it will be calculated? It will be calculated as P plus 100 into 4. Okay, p plus 100 into 4, right? So what is 100 into 4? 100 into 4 is 400. So it is p plus 400. P is 1000. So 1000 plus 400 is, it will be 1400. Okay, so it will be 1400. Okay, like that it will be accessed, right? So that is whatever I have explained here, that can be represented as a formula here. Okay, so address of ampersand represent address of an array of a particular index location. Address of a particular index location of an array can be calculated like this. How? Base address plus index into scale factor. Okay, base address plus index into scale factor. If you want to know the address of the fourth location of the array, so this is 0th location, this is first location, this is second location, this is third location, this is fourth location, then address of a of 4 is equal to what? Base address. What is base address? Here we are assuming base address is 1000 plus which index address you want to find? 4 into scale factor. What is the scale factor here? It's an integer pointer, so the scale factor is 4. So 1000 plus 4 into 4 is 16. So 1000 plus 16 is 1016. So which is this location? Okay. So this is how we access the content of an array using the, this is how we access the address of an array using pointers, right? Okay, fine. So next we'll discuss how to access the value of an array using pointer. See, in the previous slide we have discussed how to access the address. So address of an array you can access by using just p or p plus 1 or p plus 2 or p plus 3 or p plus 4 or p plus I. Using that you can access the address. Next, how to access the value of an array using pointer. Okay, so array name plus index. This syntax is used to access the address of the specified index of an array. But if you want to access the value at that particular address, then just add a star in front. That's all. Because star represents what? Value at address. There are two usage of star. First usage is to create a pointer variable. Second usage is to access the value. So in the with respect to the second usage, we call star as value at address. So it means value at this particular address. Okay. So star p plus 0, star of p plus 0 represents value at p is what? 1000. 0 means nothing. Okay, 0 into 4 is 0. So value at 1000 is 1. Okay. Star p plus 1 is what? P is 1000. 1 means to the 1 you have to multiply by 4. That is scaling factor. So 1004. So value at 1004 is 2. Okay. Or you can say star p plus 2 means value at 1008. That is 3. Star p plus 3 means value at 1012. That is 4. Star p plus 4 means, so you know, p is 1000. P is 1000. 4 means what? 4 means you cannot use just the 4. That 4 should be multiplied with scale factor. So it is an integer pointer. So it should be 4 into 4. So 4 into 4 is 16. Okay. So it is what? Value at 1016. Okay. So before that there is a star. So star represents value at this location. So value at 1016 is what? Value at 1016 is 5. Okay. Value at 1016, that location is, this is 0. Okay. 1016 is 5. Okay. So this is how we access the values of an array by using pointers. And directly by using array, you can access like this. A of 0 refers to 1. A of 1 refers to this location. A of 2 refers to this value. A of 3 refers to this value. And A of 4 refers to this value. Okay. I think it's clear. So when you want to access the address of any array element using pointer, you just say p plus I. Okay. So if you want to access the address of the ith element, you can access just p plus I. If you want to access the value of an array at a particular index, then you have to use star p plus I. So where star stands for value at the particular address. Okay, fine. With this knowledge, now let us try to discuss a program with all this understanding. So what are the things to summarize? First, you will have an array, some array int a or whatever it may be, and that will have some content in that. And then you should have a pointer, and the pointer will be point. So first you should have an array, then you should have a pointer variable, and the pointer should point to the base address or the starting address of the array. That can be done by this statement p is equal to a, or by this statement p is equal to ampersand a. Then if you want to access the address of any array element, then you can use p plus I, okay, where I represents the index of the particular array element whose address you want to access. If you want to access the value, then you have to use star p plus I. Okay. So with these three understanding, let us move on to the program. It's a very simple program. Here we are declaring an array a of 5. It's not initialized with any values. And there is a variable I, and this is the pointer star p, and p is now pointing to the starting address of the array. Array is there, but it contains it is not having any values. Maybe it may have some garbage values, but which we are not bothered of. So the array 1 2 3, it contains 5 locations and the name is a. Okay, and as usual, let us assume the starting address is 1000. Okay, now you say that here you are giving p is equal to a. It means that p is pointing to the starting address of the array. So that is p is holding 1000. So that is p is pointing to the first location of this particular array. Okay. Now we are asking the user to enter the values for this array, but we are going to read these values not by in a normal way, but we are going to read the values by using pointer. Okay. Okay, not in a direct way. So we are asking enter the values of the array. Then we are running the for loop. The array contains 5 elements, so the for loop goes for 5 times. For I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. So the for loop syntax is very similar to Java. Then scanf, which is used to read, scanf percentage d. Percentage d represents integer. As you are going to read integer, you have to give percentage d, comma, within bracket p plus I. So here you should give the address of the variable on which the value should be read. Okay, the syntax of scanf is you have to give the address of the variable where the value should be received as input. Okay, so the first element should be received in 0th location. Okay, so here we are giving what? P plus I, because P refers to the starting address. And initially I is what? 0. So P plus 0 is, it refers to only 0th location. So it is 0th address. Okay. So whatever the input now the user gives, say the user gives 1 as the input, that will be stored here. But when it comes for the second round, P plus I is, it is I will be 1 because loop will increment. So at that time, this will be P plus 1, but 1 means that 1 when you multiply with 1000, when you multiply with 4, it becomes 1 into 4, 4. So P plus 4 is 1000 plus 4 is 1004. That's the second location. So second input will go here. Third will go here. Okay. Accordingly, you take all the inputs. Then we should display the contents of the array. For displaying the content of the array, we use star. Okay, so we use another for loop. For I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, print of percentage d star p plus I. So again, I starts with 0. So p plus I means I is 0. So 1000. So it is 1000 plus 0 is 1000. So star 1000 is value at 1000. Value at 1000 is whatever this value 1, it will display. The next round it will be p plus I. I is 1. So p plus 1 is 1000 plus 1 into 4. So 1004. Star 1004 means value at 1004. That is maybe 2 or whatever the input the user gave. The next round I will be 2. So p plus 2, that is 1000 plus 2 is 1000 plus 2 into 4. That is 1000 plus 8. So 1000 plus 8 and star 1000 plus 8 means star 1008 means value at 1008, that is 3. 3 will be displayed. Like that, all the other values also will be displayed. Okay, fine. Let us discuss this program. Fine. So the file name is arraypointer.c. Let me open this nano array underscore ptr.c. Okay. Here you can see it is a very similar code. The header file and the main function, it's an array which is not initialized because we want to take user input. Then the variable I for loop control, there is a pointer p, and p is equal to a. It means that the pointer p, it means that the pointer p is point. Pointer p is pointing to a. So a is nothing but the starting address of the array. Okay, that is the starting address of the array or the base address. Fine. So next what we are doing, we are asking the user to enter the values for the array. For I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus scanf percentage d p plus I. So this will refer the address, because in scanf you should always give the address at which the value should be read. Then we are displaying the array contents. So here for I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. This printf I have modified slightly when compared with the one which I showed in the PPT. I'm displaying two things. What are they? The first is a percentage %p, the next is a percentage %d. In between there is a tab space, that is /t, and this /n is for new line. So I want to display both the address and the value. I'm not going to display only the value, I'm displaying the address and the value. So first I'm going to display the address and then the value, so that you will understand each value is stored at which address and how there is a gap of 4 bytes for each value, because as it is an integer array, each value occupies 4 bytes. So the first, so here it is percentage %p. So, so there are two things. One is, the first one is an address. The next one is a pointer. The two things we are we are displaying. Okay, fine. Let me compile it. Let me save it. Control O. Exit. Let me compile GCC array underscore ptr.c -o array underscore ptr. Okay, this will compile. Now let me execute /array underscore ptr. Okay, so it is asking to enter the values. So let me enter some values: 12, 16, 18, 23. 5 values I should enter. So 4, 78. Okay. Now you can see here this array contents. 12 is stored at address, this big address you can see 700. Okay. 16 is stored at 704. So because 12 occupies 4 bytes. So 16 is stored starting from 704. Okay. 18 is stored at 708. Okay. Then you can see this 23 is stored at 70C. Why it is not stored in 7112, you may ask. This is a hexadecimal representation. Okay. This is a hexadecimal representation. So if you are, I guess you are aware of hexadecimal numbers. So in hexadecimal numbers, what you have is after 8, you have 9. Okay, that is fine. But after 9 in decimal, we have 10. But in hexadecimal, we have A. Okay. After 9, it is A. And after A, it is B. After C, it is, after B, it is C. Then D. Then E. And then F. Okay, then the next number will begin. I mean the next, okay. So, 0 to 9 is fine. It is the same order as of decimal. Okay. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Instead of 10, we have A, then B, then C, then D, E, F. Okay. After F, what you have is 1, 0 in hexadecimal. Okay. Then actually hexadecimal 1, 0 refers to, this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, refers to decimal 16. Okay, hexadecimal 10 is decimal 16. Okay, then you have 11, 12, 13. It goes on up to 19. Okay, again after that what you'll have 1A, 1B. Sorry, A is big. 1A, 1B, 1C. It goes on up to 1F. Okay, after 1F, you have 20. Okay, so this is a hexadecimal representation. So after 08708, what it is coming is 709. Okay, 70A, 70B, 70C. So it is 70C. Okay, after 70C, 70D, 70E, 70F. After F, it will be what? 10. So 710. So the last value is stored in 710 location. Okay, that's what you get this like this. Okay, fine. Now let us also try to understand how this the program will be accessed using normal array. Okay, that is very natural thing, but still I would like to discuss that. So I think the file name is array.c. Yeah, there is a one array.c. So let me open nano array.c. Okay, so here you can see now I'm not using any pointers. It's an integer array a of 5 and this loop variable. I'm asking the user to enter the values of the array for I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus scanf percentage d. Here ampersand a of 5. Okay, for every so here also you can see we are using, whenever you use scanf you should use address. Okay, at which address you want to read. So that in pointer also we use that p plus I, which refers the address. Okay, now a of 0's address, a of 1's address, a of 2's address, a of 3 and a of 4's address. Like that we read the values and then we display the content of the array. So here also we are displaying the address and the value. So to display the address you just use ampersand a of I. To display the value just use a of I. So there is a for loop for I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, then print of the address and the values. Okay. Let me execute this also. So this is gcc array.c, gcc array.c, and let us keep the compiled file name also as just array. So dot slash array. So here say let me give some values 10, 29, 33, 67, 89. Okay. So you can see this is stored in this location. So you can see if 10 is stored in 50, then 54, then 58, then 5C, and then 60. Okay. Fine. Let us stop this lecture here. I want you to practice all these programs. Okay. And also I would like to give a small homework which I want you to try by yourself. So here we have discussed a program like how to, what do you call, how to access an integer array using pointers. I want you to write a program to read and display the contents of a character array, of a floating point array, and a double array using pointers. So this you please try as a homework and let me know when we meet in the next class. Okay, and let us stop here. Thank you.